What up, though, y'all? It's Chris. Appreciate you connecting with me while I'm out here on the run, getting things done. And let's jump into this topic. Stephen A. Smith, he recently went on Big Boy TV to do an interview. And of course, him being on there, and it was a pretty chill interview. I did really enjoy it. But him being on there, he's no dummy. He knew he was going to be asked to weigh in on the Shannon Sharpe situation, and he was prepared to do so. And he did speak on it a little bit more than before. He kind of said a little bit more than before, but still not too much. You know, listen, shout out to Stephen A. Smith for real. He may not be my favorite sports guy out there. A lot of the stuff he says I disagree with, but you really gotta admire his ability to articulate what he's saying. I'm just sitting and I'm listening to him, and it was a very easy listen. I was like really drawn in. He speaks very well. He is masterful at articulating his point and just saying what he has to say. And I just remember years ago, we're talking like what, mid 2000s, he is considerably better at communicating than he was back then. I mean, I guess you could say it was years and years and years of talking and practicing on this. Regardless, he here now, and it just really inspired me to work on my communication skills, and regardless of how long it may take, get somewhere in the realm of where he's at, being able to articulate my point. So as I was saying, you know, this is where I was going with this, and he was saying how even though he was hoping for the best with Shannon, that he'd be able to stay on air, he knew that it wouldn't go down that way because Disney. Now, remember before he was saying that he wasn't sure how things were going to go. Then he kind of was like, you know, he works for Disney and he understands that Disney has a certain image. And now he's saying he knew all along that, you know, Shannon was going to have to bounce. You know, that just goes to show you that what I was saying before. Remember I was saying before how Shannon was like, oh, they made a mutual decision to part for now. And I said, nah, ain't no mutual decision. When a breakup happened, one person wanted it, the other person didn't want it. Shannon Sharpe was not trying to leave that cushy ESPN gig that he had going on. He had a really good thing going on with them, and he was not trying to do that. It's Disney with the image that they have to uphold. We talking about Mickey Mouse. You got all this stuff, man. Them text messages, your lawyer put them out, stuff like that. We just can't have any association with, man. So even if Unc Shay ends up getting out of this, it's very doubtful that he'll be welcome back at Disney just for simply being involved in this sort of thing. I mean, really, just his image is tarnished. Even if he gets out of this, his image will still remain tarnished to a certain extent. He can work on repairing it, but it will never be that image that it was before this chick came out accusing him and his lawyer released them dang on text messages, man. I don't know. I said this back then. For the life of me, I don't understand why they thought that was a good idea. Releasing these text messages of him basically tricking, paying her 25 G's a cheek, and her wanting him to get her pregnant. I just don't know why they thought that was a good idea. And I think that Unc Shay should fire his attorney if he hasn't already, because that stuff effectively made things worse, not better. Stephen A. Smith also went on to be like, you know, they pushed him out there at FS1 and people wanted that to be the end of his career, and he wasn't going to let that happen. He was in a position to help him, so he did. And he said that, you know, by him bringing him on the First Take, you now think of him when you think of Unc Shay to a certain extent, and this caused things to elevate for him in terms of Nightcap and Club Shay Shay, whatever. People had a problem with him saying this. I didn't, because he's not wrong, right? Going over to ESPN, and he's there because Stephen A brought him in. Going over there, it did help boost him a great deal. Yes, he had a bit of visibility. Yes, he had a lot of visibility, but let's not pretend like he didn't get another boost by being over there on First Take every week. So people be expecting you to be humble with the things that you do and whatnot. And I mean, I could see their point, but at the same time, it's okay to say, hey, I did this for somebody, I did that for somebody. It wasn't necessarily bragging. People take you just simply stating what happened as you bragging, and it's not always the case. So he continued to go on and say that as a friend, if he can do anything for Shannon, he will. I thought that was cool, and I believe him, because he said that before about Skip Bayless. Except bringing Skip Bayless on the First Take. All right, when they were talking about when rumors were swirling about Skip Bayless possibly coming back to First Take, and Stephen A. Smith got word of that, he made sure to go on his show and talk about that, stomping that out. Like, that's not the direction that I'm trying to go in right now. Like, I'm grateful to Skip. He brought me in, this, and that. But I will not be working with him again on First Take. That's just not the direction that I'm trying to go in my career right now. So he'll do what he can as a friend, but even that has limitations, because I personally, and he never said this, but I personally think that Stephen A. Smith is a little annoyed by the fact that I brought you in here, I vouched for you, and look at the mess you've brought with you. And that's understandable, because how could you not feel that way? You bring somebody on, you speak highly of them, you vouch for them, you like, hey, look, this is going to be great, we're going to go to the next level. And they did. By his own admission, they did go to the next level. He said his work on First Take has been instrumental in them going to the next level. They were already number one, but now they were going to the next level. But then, bro, you came with all this drama with these chicks, man. So I get it. If I was in his position, I would be a bit annoyed too by the fact that your lack of dick discipline has taken what could have been a generational bag for us, for both you and me, and it's shaking that up. Now Stephen A. still gonna get his generational bag. Unc Shay though, not so much. It seemed like he gonna still do well, but we know that $100 million podcast deal that was being talked about, we know that it's a wrap on that. Nobody's gonna work no deal like that with him. We see the sponsors are heading for the hills. Disney has separated itself from him. He says, and he being Unc Shay, that he'll be back in time for football preseason. Well, Stephen A. Smith said he don't know. He did, Shay said this confidently. When Stephen A. Smith was going on about that part, he said he don't know. So this is, again, stuff that Unc Shay is trying to put a more positive spin on than what it really is. Oh, we mutually decided for me to step away. No, that really wasn't the case, bro. You were forced out. Oh, I'll be back, in time for the football preseason. Yeah, that don't seem like that's the case either, man. Like, even if you do beat this, it really is not looking like Disney is going to be willing to bring you back on. And if at all, certainly not in the same capacity that you were before. So I'm going to leave it there. I do recommend you guys check out that podcast, that interview. I thought it was very entertaining. As I said, Stephen A. Smith, really great communicator, really effective, really good at what he does, man. And, I mean, he may not have been one of my favorites ever, but he won me over a lot more with just this interview, because just listening to how well he could articulate his point, reveal a little more but not reveal too much, it was really well done. check it out, you guys. Let me go ahead and get out of here, though, man. I got this freeway traffic to deal with. I don't want to split my focus too much on it. You guys can probably tell I'm a little bit distracted right now. So hit me with them likes, hit me with them subs. I'll holler at y'all soon. Peace.